Marty Durbin on the line with us. He is the Executive Vice President for Government Affairs for the American Petroleum Institute. API is the American Petroleum Institute. API.org, rather, is their website. You can check it out. Marty, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Tom. Happy to be here.
I assume that Director of Government Affairs or Executive President for Government Affairs means that you're involved in lobbying, basically.
Yes, I am.
So what is the focus of the American Petroleum Institute these days? I mean, it seems that there are a lot of petroleum interests that have nothing to do with the United States. There are, British Petroleum is outside the United States. Royal Dutch Shell is outside the United States. I think, ExxonMobil is about the only American petroleum company out of the big ones.
Well, no,
do you guys represent all of these international companies, or
we represent all of them as far as, but they're all producing here domestically. You mentioned a few of the foreign-owned companies, but they're some of the biggest investors here in the United States.
Right.
But ExxonMobil, Occidental, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, these are all major producers here in the United States that are investing in incredible amounts here in the U.S. to produce energy, create jobs, grow our economy.
Yeah, don't you think that's a shame, though, that foreign companies are taking all their profits to the other countries?
But they're not in this industry. This is an industry that is investing very heavily in the United States. If you look at in 2010 alone, oil and natural gas industry, including all of those companies. By the way, we represent 500 different companies for all parts of the oil and natural gas industry. Mm-hmm. In 2010, $470 billion is what they invested in the U.S. economy in capital expenditures, wages, dividends. Well, that's more than half the size of the stimulus that was passed by Congress. But it happens every year, and it doesn't take an act of Congress, and it doesn't cost the taxpayer.
That's a lot of very aggressive drilling and production of oil and natural gas. Does it ever wake you up in the middle of the night, the thought that all this carbon dioxide that's being pumped into the atmosphere and other gases, and of course all the cancers caused by burning things like diesel fuel, that people are dying as a consequence of your actions?
Well, listen, there's no question. We've got to be able to. We have to produce this. Everything we produce safely and responsibly. But I think you're off the mark here when we're talking about carbon dioxide. Look at the latest figures. The United States has made the biggest reductions in carbon dioxide.
Yeah, as a result of the recession.
Any country as a result of natural gas. Natural gas is now replacing
because of fracking
fuels in production. You look at energy production. Coal used to be more than half of our electricity production. It's now about 30%, and natural gas is about 30%. That's resulting in enormous reductions in greenhouse gases, but it's also creating jobs. It's giving us energy security. We're in a position now we're going to be able to control our energy future going forward.
Have you ever thought about, Marty, a couple of apocryphal stories, or perhaps, frankly, maybe they're true. One is that Western Union, back in the late 19th century, Alexander Graham Bell approached them and said, "Hey, I've got this invention," and they said, "Oh, we don't want to hear about the telephone thing. We're in the telegraph business." Another is that the Wright brothers went to the railroads and said, "We got this really cool thing called the airplane. Why don't you get in the and the railroad said, "No, we're in the railroad business." And what Western Union failed to understand was they were in the communications business, and what the railroads failed to understand was they were in the transportation business. Do you see API or other organizations like yours or your industry starting to realize that you're really in the energy business and embracing things like solar power and wind power and biomass and wave power and starting to develop these kind of things, or are you going to hang on to just the fossil fuel end of it?
Tom, I'm glad you raised that, because it's not a matter of starting it. We're already there. If you look at the America's oil and natural gas industry, between 2000 and 2010, we invested $74 billion in zero and low carbon energy technologies. That's twice as much as the federal government invested, and almost as much as every other industry combined. That's wind power, solar power, geothermal, biomass, algae research. So it's not a question of will we start to go there. We're already there.
Yeah.
But you've got to get some of the basic facts here. And what I mean by that is today, 62% of the energy that the United States uses comes from oil and natural gas. The government's own projections say that in 2035, even with steady increases in renewables, doubling our biomass, improving our efficiency, oil and natural gas will still be 57%. So it's not a question of will we need more oil and natural gas. It's where do we want to get it? And we ought to be getting it here in the United States where we now know we have the resource, we can produce it safely, and we can create the jobs.
Okay, you say we should get it here in the United States. Why are folks arguing that we should buy it from a foreign country, specifically Canada, with the Keystone XL pipeline?
We have a very strong energy partnership with Canada, and we ought to.
But it's a foreign country. Why should we be giving them money?
Because for every dollar that we send to Canada, the United States gets 90 cents back, no matter what it is to buy there, including oil. Yeah, that's the trade. It's the longest. It's the biggest trade partnership in the world between the United States and Canada. And here you're looking at a source of energy.
So we should be buying their gas, so they'll buy our what?
And every dollar we spend on Canadian products, they spend 90 cents back here in services and other products from the United States. You can't say that about any other trading partner we have in the world.
Oh no, Canada is a major trading partner with the United States. There's no doubt about that. But you can find a lot of U.S. made products in Canada, and along the northern parts of the United States, you can find some Canadian products made in the United States. But it seems odd. I hear you saying we need to develop U.S. Interests for petroleum and things like that, and yet, I hear all these politicians say, no, let's develop this Canadian one so that we can run we already have a Keystone XL pipeline that runs down to the Midwest where it's generating electricity. It's going to a refinery. Yeah. You're right, and it's producing gasoline and diesel fuel for the Midwest. Why would we want to run that down to Texas for export? But Marty, I'm sorry, we're out of time.